a powerful political party in Europe, has just called on England's Football Association and UEFA to cut all ties with FIFA and help create a completely new governing body for world football. This isn't a random opinion from social media or an angry fan after a match. These remarks came directly from a party leader who publicly described FIFA as, in his words, corrupt beyond repair. And the criticism doesn't stop there. The president of one of the world's biggest football leagues has openly demanded that FIFA President Gianni Infantino resign. Even the Council of Europe, an official international institution, has stepped in, urging FIFA to rebuild its integrity system before the next World Cup. This isn't clickbait or manufactured outrage. Across Europe, more voices are beginning to question whether football's most powerful organization can still be trusted. If you're new to the channel, welcome. We cover football's biggest controversies using verified reporting rather than rumors or speculation. Today, we're looking at a story that reaches far beyond a single match. It's about the growing movement across Europe, calling for a complete break from FIFA. We'll explain the incident that started it all, the people and organizations now joining the criticism, what the Council of Europe has officially demanded, and why separating from FIFA is still far more complicated than many people think. To understand why emotions are running so high, we have to go back to one controversial decision during this year's World Cup. USA striker Florian Balogun received a red card that, under FIFA's standard regulations, should have resulted in an automatic one-match suspension. Instead, that suspension was overturned, allowing him to play in the United States quarterfinal against Belgium. What transformed this from a football controversy into a much larger institutional debate was everything that reportedly happened behind the scenes. Several media outlets reported that the decision was reversed after direct communication between then-President Donald Trump and FIFA President Gianni Infantino. Photos also circulated showing Infantino escorting Trump away from the stage so Spain could celebrate their eventual World Cup victory. On its own, it might have seemed like a minor moment, but within the wider controversy, it quickly became a symbol of exactly the relationship critics believe has damaged FIFA's credibility. UEFA, Europe's own governing body for football, didn't stay silent. It publicly condemned the decision, describing it as unprecedented, incomprehensible, and unjustifiable. UEFA warned that overturning the suspension could create a dangerous precedent for how FIFA applies its own disciplinary rules in future tournaments. When one of FIFA's own continental confederations uses language this strong against the organization above it, it signals that something far more serious is unfolding. Not long afterward, that criticism turned into a direct political demand. The UK's Liberal Democrats officially called on the English Football Association and UEFA to withdraw from FIFA altogether. Party leader Ed Davey argued that FIFA is beyond repair and insisted the only realistic solution is for the FA and other European football authorities to leave and establish a completely new governing organization. Davey didn't stop there. He accused Gianni Infantino of repeatedly crossing ethical boundaries, while allowing commercial interests to take priority over football itself. The Liberal Democrats also connected their criticism to issues many supporters have experienced firsthand. Reports suggested that ticket prices for the World Cup reached more than £24,000 for the highest demand matches because of FIFA's dynamic pricing system. There were also reports of supporters and even match officials facing problems at border crossings during the tournament. Their central message was straightforward. FIFA no longer serves football or its supporters. Instead, they argued, it places political influence and commercial profit above the game. The party also renewed its demand for Infantino to resign and called for FIFA officials to appear before Parliament to explain how the organization is being managed. It's important to keep one thing clear. This is the position of a major political party, but it is not the official policy of the UK government, nor is it an official decision by UEFA. That distinction is important, because some headlines blur the difference. Even so, it remains one of the strongest public calls yet for a complete institutional split from FIFA, rather than simply criticizing one controversial decision. If you're enjoying this breakdown, make sure to leave a like. It helps more football fans discover the video, and I'd also like to hear your opinion in the comments. Do you believe a genuine breakaway from FIFA is possible? Or is this simply another wave of pressure that fades once the headlines disappear? What makes this situation different is that criticism isn't only coming from politicians. Influential figures inside football are speaking out as well. La Liga president Javier Tebas has publicly argued that Gianni Infantino should resign, accusing FIFA of damaging the football industry by constantly expanding international competitions at the expense of domestic leagues and clubs. While Tebas has voiced similar concerns before, he has now linked them directly to the Balogun suspension controversy as another example of FIFA's questionable decision-making. Perhaps his strongest statement came afterward. Tebas admitted that many people inside football privately disagree with Infantino's leadership, yet almost nobody is prepared to challenge him in a presidential election because they believe the result is already decided. In his own words, the system itself is fundamentally flawed. That criticism carries significant weight, because it isn't coming from an outsider. It's coming from the leader of one of the world's most influential domestic leagues. Tebas argues that FIFA's political structure has become so concentrated around Infantino that meaningful opposition cannot emerge through normal democratic processes. That's exactly why some critics are now talking about leaving FIFA altogether, instead of trying to reform it from within. If the Liberal Democrats delivered the loudest political criticism, the Council of Europe delivered perhaps the most institutionally significant response. The organization, which focuses on democracy, human rights, and the rule of law across Europe, formally criticized FIFA and demanded that it establish a much stronger integrity framework before the next World Cup. Secretary General Alain Berset warned that football's regulatory system has been weakened by growing commercial, betting partnerships and increasing political interference. The Council specifically highlighted the Balogun suspension reversal as what it described as the clearest example of a catastrophic failure of institutional independence. Their concern was simple. If disciplinary decisions can be changed because of political influence once, then every future decision risks losing public trust. That carries far more weight than a single political party expressing its opinion. The Council of Europe is an international institution examining FIFA's governance with the same seriousness it applies to issues involving democratic institutions or judicial independence. That shows just how significant this controversy has become. So could Europe actually leave FIFA? That's where the situation becomes much more complicated. UEFA remains one of FIFA's 6 continental confederations. Although it has sharply criticized the organization, it has taken no formal steps toward withdrawal. Likewise, the Liberal Democrats have issued a political demand. But neither the English FA nor UEFA has officially adopted that position. History also suggests this wouldn't be the first time. FIFA has faced intense pressure. During Sepp Blatter's presidency, senior football officials from countries including England and the Netherlands publicly demanded his resignation, following corruption allegations connected to the bidding processes for the 2018 and 2022 World Cups. Despite that campaign, Blatter remained in office for several more years. FIFA also survived one of the biggest corruption scandals in modern sporting history, a crisis that produced criminal indictments, suspended bidding procedures, and worldwide scrutiny. Yet despite everything, FIFA continued organizing World Cups and remained the dominant force in global football. That history suggests that even strong criticism from respected European institutions doesn't automatically produce lasting structural change. FIFA still controls enormous commercial revenues, broadcasting rights, and the support of many football federations outside Europe that do not necessarily share the same concerns. Any alternative governing body would require backing from multiple continents to achieve genuine legitimacy. And at this stage, the movement remains largely centered in Europe. If you really want to judge whether this movement gains momentum, don't focus only on political speeches. Watch UEFA's official decisions. Does UEFA's executive committee ever vote on leaving FIFA? Do national associations outside the United Kingdom formally support the proposal? Does Gianni Infantino face a credible challenger in the next FIFA presidential election? Considering Tebas's claim that few people are even willing to stand against Infantino, those developments would provide the clearest evidence that this movement is evolving from public frustration into genuine institutional change rather than remaining a symbolic campaign. So this is where things stand today. A controversial red card suspension reversal, reportedly influenced by political pressure, has sparked a chain reaction that now includes a major British political party demanding Europe leave FIFA, the president of one of football's biggest leagues calling for Infantino's resignation, and the Council of Europe officially demanding sweeping governance reforms. That's an extraordinary amount of pressure in a very short period. But history also shows that FIFA has survived major controversies before. Now it's your turn. Do you think this movement will eventually force real change? Or will FIFA once again withstand the criticism and continue operating as it always has?